The opinions expressed by the participants of the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of CIRV FM or its administration.
O Primeiro-Ministro português António Costa esteve recentemente entre nós, uma visita oficial ao Canadá, onde tive a oportunidade de conviver com Justin Trudeau e outros membros também do governo, entre eles a deputada federal pela área da Davenport, Julie Dzerowicz. Julie Dzerowicz is with us on the phone. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Boa tarde. Olá, Jorge e todos os ouvintes, e obrigada por me convidar aqui hoje.
Well, your Portuguese is getting better and better. Good job.
Well, the rest of the interview will be in English, though.
Julie, let's gonna talk about the visit from Prime Minister of Portugal, António Costa, to Canada. You were part of it. Overall, your thoughts about this visit?
Well, I was very excited to have our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, meet with Prime Minister António Costa. When they met, there was genuine warmth between both of them. There was a genuine desire to form deeper relations between Canada and Portugal. And primarily, they focused their time together on working on the Canada-Europe trade agreement. How is it that we can do more business and help each other on the business end? And the second thing is, how is it that we can get more youth to travel, so more Portuguese coming to Canada and more Canadian going to Portugal, so that we have a better understanding firsthand of each other's cultures.
One of the things that was unusual was the fact of Justin Trudeau. He got a meeting, they got together in Ottawa, but then Justin Trudeau came to Toronto to go with António Costa to different places. That's not normal in terms of protocol, right?
Actually, it's fairly typical, Georges. Like the
really?
first day, it was Ottawa. So that's the formal receiving of Prime Minister António Costa in Ottawa. So very, very formal. Ottawa was the day. On Thursday was when we received Prime Minister António Costa here on Parliament Hill, and we formally signed the Youth Mobility Agreement between Canada and Portugal. So that was the formal part of the visit. What happened is, because both Prime Ministers wanted to do more work and to better promote trade via the Canada-Europe Trade Agreement, they went to Toronto. And as you know, Toronto is the economic capital of Canada, and so we wanted to make sure that we went where the business was. And then also, it was very important for our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, to also meet with the community. So he wanted to make sure that he had a chance to say hello to the Portuguese community, and it was one of the ways that he was able to do so.
Let's going to talk about that agreement between Canada and Portugal related to youth. What can you tell us about that?
So this is really exciting. Canada does have a number of these types of youth mobility agreements with other countries around the world. But what is very special about this one with Portugal is typically we only start at 500 spaces, okay? But what happened is the Prime Minister of our country, Prime Minister Costa, decided, no, let us think big. So we are going to allow 2,000 youth on each side to be able to travel to each other, and that's each year. So that means that 2,000 youth from Portugal can come to Canada. They can get an open work permit that allows them to work anywhere in Canada. They can travel for part of the time, they can work for part of the time, or they can join, or they might be able to get some sort of a work permit from a company that also allows them to work in this country. But we allow 2,000 Portuguese every year, and we allow 2,000 Canadians to go to Portugal. And what we believe is that by working in each other's countries, we're going to have a better understanding of each other's economies, and we're going to have far more trade and far more economic benefits to both of our.
Can youth take advantage of this new agreement? Where they need to go to apply and go to or Canada or Portugal?
So right now, we actually have a website, and it's called the Working Holiday, I think, website on our our Canada.ca site. Hold on, let me just see it. So I will have to make sure that I get that information to you. But there's a way for the Portuguese community to actually access. It's on the Canadian government website, so it's Canada.ca. Just put in Youth Mobility Program. And then what happens is we haven't opened up the program yet for Portugal. I think it'll open up this summer. I'm just trying to finalize when the date is. I don't know whether it's going to be at the beginning of July or the beginning of September, but it's going to be very soon. We're just finalizing the details right now, but it's going to be very easy to apply. And I will come back on, George, to make sure that the community knows exactly how to apply. But let them know that, by me speaking now and letting people know that there's many, many spaces, and we're really looking forward to welcoming Portuguese youth to Canada.
What about the trades were very important during this visit? Any results, practical results that you have seen the last couple of days?
In terms of the trade or in terms of what?
Yeah, in terms of businesses between the two countries.
Oh, of course. Well, you know what? Prime Minister Trudeau, he actually highlighted, a couple of really great businesses, Portuguese businesses in Canada, that's going to greatly benefit from the Canada-Europe Trade Agreement. So he highlighted Tavora Foods and he highlighted Macedo Wineries. But we know that there's many other amazing Portuguese companies in Canada that is going to greatly benefit. So I think that was something that we talked about. And the other thing is, and I did hear some Portuguese businesses come up to me afterwards and saying they were very impressed with Prime Minister Costa. They were very impressed with his Minister of Trade because they basically spoke about how the economy in Portugal is very strong right now and they're very innovative. And so there was a great desire on behalf of Portuguese Canadian businesses to want to use the Canada-Europe Trade Agreement to do more business back with Portugal. And so that was something very exciting to them because many of them did not know how good the economy is right now in Portugal. And I think that was something that they were very happy to hear.
And that will benefit Canada also in terms of Europe, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. And I'm going to be doing a lot more work. I'm hoping to do more work with the Federation of Portuguese Canadian Business Professionals, with various other business leaders to see what more I can do to help them do more trade or take advantage of the Canada-Europe Trade Agreement. So you'll be hearing more from me in the days and weeks to come.
In terms of the Portuguese community, you spent a lot of time during this visit with the Portuguese Prime Minister, with all the guests that were coming. But your thoughts about the contact between Portuguese and government and the Portuguese community here? How was it?
Oh, you know what? There was, the community event that we had took place at Liona Local 183 site up at Jane and Wilson. And there was a big blackout because of the winds. But let me tell you, they put on such a wonderful show. We had wonderful speeches from Prime Minister Costa, a wonderful speech from the President of the Azores, and then we had a fado singer and some other great speeches. And there was a lot of love within the community. At least that's what I felt in the room. I think there was a lot of pride of the Portuguese. And I always say this is one of the special things about Canada. Diversity really is our strength. You can truly be a proud Portuguese and you could be a proud Canadian, and there's no conflict. Having the Portuguese community take such an integral part of Canadian society has made Canada a better country.
A lot of people in the Portuguese community was saying to us during our opinion show regarding this visit that next time we need more community events, to find more ways for people to get to the leaders.
You know what? I totally agree with that. To be honest, I was pushing for more community events. I really wanted both prime ministers to come to Davenport because, as you know, Davenport, my riding, has the largest Portuguese community in the country, and so I was really pushing for them to do that. Often we are at the will of the schedule of the Prime Minister of Canada as well as the Prime Minister of Costa. They both decided they want to focus on trade. But I can assure you, I'm going to be working very hard to get Prime Minister Trudeau to come back to the community and to make sure he spends a little bit more time with more of the community sometime soon.
What about the future programs, objectives that you have for the area of Davenport?
Well, the top issue, and I know this is something the community talks a lot about, is the issue around how we have non-status Portuguese workers in Canada. They are Portuguese people who are working at jobs that we desperately need them to fill. Many are in the construction and the trade sector. So that's one of my top issues right now. The Prime Minister of Canada did an interview around the undocumented workers, and he basically said that the Canadian government's going to continue to be working with the community, that he sent a message of hope to the undocumented workers. He said that he encouraged everybody to continue to work with people like me as members of Parliament. We are working very hard on trying to find a solution. We know that the Portuguese community is very hardworking. We know that they are taking jobs that we desperately need them to fill, particularly in the area of infrastructure. It's one of my top issues to actually resolve.
Julie, thank you very much for this opportunity to take time from your busy schedule to speak with the Portuguese listeners and for the Portuguese community. What message do you have for them?
Obrigada, Jorge. Sinto-me honrada por ser membro do Parlamento por Davenport, representando a maior população portuguesa no Canadá. O meu papel é servir minha comunidade. Portanto, por favor, contacte-nos no telefone 416-654-8048 e visite-nos no endereço 1202 Bloor Street West. Em nosso escritório existe atendimento em português. And that's
very well done. Congratulations. And Julie, by any chance, are you going to Portugal this summer?
You know what? Last year I went for 1 month to Portugal and I visited 21 places. I went to San Miguel, I went to Terceira, I went to Porto, Viana do Castelo, Braga, Viseu. I went to Lamego, I went to Fátima, I went to Nazaré, Peniche, Coimbra, Lisboa. So I went to many places last year. I might this year very much just be focused on staying in the community, but I promise I will be back to visit Portugal. I love the country very much, and I know that many are anxious for me to return back to Portugal to visit everywhere else that I haven't had a chance to visit yet.
Okay, and don't forget to visit here at CIRV FM, the Portuguese people that work here too.
Of course, it's always a pleasure.
And the doors and the microphones from CIRV FM are always available for you.
Okay, muito obrigada. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Julie, and have a nice day.
Yes, boa tarde. Bye-bye.
Foi assim um espaço de entrevista que aconteceu, a oportunidade para falarmos com a representante da área da Davenport no Parlamento Federal, em Ottawa, Julie Dzerowicz, que acompanhou de perto, bem de perto também, a visita do Primeiro-Ministro Português António Costa ao Canadá e que aqui nos fez um balanço também, já depois de algumas semanas dessa visita, em que ponto de situação é que estamos neste momento, em relação às trocas comerciais entre os dois países, em relação também ao acordo relacionado com a juventude, que deverá começar brevemente e que permitirá o intercâmbio de jovens que vão poder vir de Portugal e trabalhar por algum tempo, estar aqui no Canadá, o mesmo acontecendo a canadianos que também podem se deslocar a Portugal. Falámos também dos pontos principais que Julie Dzerowicz pretende resolver num futuro próximo e aqui falou também da situação dos trabalhadores indocumentados, um ponto global de expectativas também em relação ao futuro na área da Davenport. Foi assim, espaço de entrevista com Julie Dzerowicz nos 88.9 da CIRV FM, Festival Português.
The opinions expressed by the participants do not necessarily reflect the views of CIRV FM or its administration.